Starfield has had a long development road, and after some 8 years, it is going to be one of gaming's most massive, most discussed and inspired games, a true Bethesda RPG. The big discussion right now is 30 FPS. Starfield isn't just the generation's biggest game, but possibly, even with some of the best hardware, the most demanding. This is Colteastwood. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Starfield, the performance issues, 30 frames, what's the possible solution. I talked to Todd Howard, I talked to the team at Bethesda. Let's get into what's happening with Starfield. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel, hit the bell to be notified, and let's hear why Starfield's running at 30 FPS. Starfield puts you in a massive RPG with a universe spanning thousands of planets on a game engine that offers the ultimate level of immersion and interactivity with the world. Creation Engine allows full control of a breathing world with 5 games worth of mechanics packed into one intense demand on processing, and with a new lighting system, a strong performance demand on graphics rendering as well. Todd Howard with Bethesda Softworks explains.
We realistically simulate the galaxy around you. Our next-generation lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere.
I think it'll come as no surprise, given our previous games. What we go for are always these huge open worlds, fully dynamic, hyper detail where anything can happen. And we do want to do that. You know, it's 4K on the X, it's 1440 on the S. We do lock it at 30 because we want that fidelity, we want all that stuff. We don't want to sacrifice any of it. Fortunately, in this one, we've got it running great. It's often running way above that. Sometimes it's 60. But on the consoles, we do lock it because we prefer the consistency.
Yeah.
Right? You're not even thinking about it. And we don't ever want to sacrifice that experience that makes our games, really, really special. So feels great. We're really happy with how it feels even in the heat of battle, and we need that headroom because, in our games, really anything can happen. And so with Fallout 4, they did give us a few tips on how to handle combat.
Yeah.
But in Starfield, we redid the combat ourselves, and it's really feeling great. But it has helped us really more on the graphic. They've helped us on the graphics side.
Oh, nice.
So we get into motion blur. It's just how the game feels smooth. Some other things that they do in id Tech that we wanted to bring over into Creation Engine 2, and they helped us do that, and it's great.
Starfield will look just like this, running at 30 FPS with high-quality motion blur at 4K on Xbox Series X and 1440p on Series S. Todd has explained many times that the team does not want to compromise this visual fidelity and interactivity with the world for performance, and having that performance at 60 FPS is important to core gamers like myself and many fans with high-end gaming hardware. Unfortunately, Starfield is truly the first real next-generation game that truthfully could never run on older last-generation hardware. Everyone is asking if Bethesda can lower the resolution to achieve 60 FPS for Starfield, and the issue is not simply draw calls for rendered pixels, but more reliant on the physics interactivity and global illumination ray tracing that calculates the light in real time accurately to allow the wonder of a planet illuminated in the sky instead of relying on a static skybox, giving Starfield a true next-generation wonder and immersion. Digital Foundry explains the magic of global illumination and how it truly brings Starfield to life.
The first light emitted from a surface like a light bulb, a flame, or the sun, which then traverses and hits some sort of surface. Rather, when people talk about global illumination, they usually mean the second step, which is indirect lighting. Indirect lighting is the light that hits a surface and reflects off in different directions perhaps, and light up other surfaces nearby. Depending upon the intensity of the light and how reflective the materials are, the light can bounce around many times, going on until the light energy is completely absorbed. As a concept, global illumination does mean direct lighting and all indirect lighting in all the bounces of light that occur. But commonly when people say global illumination, They actually just mean the second step of indirect illumination, the light scattering around a scene after it has already hit objects. Firstly, indirect lighting is essentially what makes images and objects look the way they look. Indirect lighting makes objects look real. So if global illumination is hard to emulate or simulate, what's the big deal? Why not just flick that switch for every game out there? As ray tracing is about capturing light from the perspective of a camera.
Turning off global illumination ray tracing on Xbox's version of Starfield is not as simple as lowering a setting, although PC users will be able to do that at the cost of the game's lighting system looking flat or harsh, as it did in Fallout 4. Simply put, the Xbox version of Starfield does not have baked-in lighting. It only has global illumination. The Xbox Series X has an AMD graphics engine with around 300 ray tracing ops per cycle. For much bigger PC counterparts capable of high-end performance with ray trace lighting, you need an upwards of a 500 ray ops per cycle GPU to have this dynamic, realistic lighting and shadows while also pushing the game to 60 FPS. But what if Bethesda refuses to turn off global illumination in favor of baked-in lighting on console to get that extra performance? Is there overhead enough left over to push the game to target 60, or is there another way? Let's talk about Xbox's famed FPS boost. Can Xbox hardware team bridge the gap from 30 to 60 using this feature? Jason Ronald, Xbox's hardware lead, explained that older titles running on Xbox Series X are idle and waiting for new instructions for the CPU, and they're able to take advantage of that extra headroom and draw an additional frame every second, doubling it from 30 to 60 FPS in FPS boost. But this isn't a back-compat title, this is a fully Gen 9 aware, next-generation game. This is unfortunate because the Creation Engine games are great candidates for FPS boost from former console generations, allowing the back-compat software solution to double the frame rate without breaking the physics, which are timed in the engine that run gravity and ballistics and things like that in Starfield. Unfortunately, Starfield is not a Gen 8 or older game. Starfield is not built in the older porting process for Xbox consoles, so FPS boost is not possible. In fact, on Xbox Series S and X, there is not the available calculation headroom because the game is already massively demanding on the hardware, and according to Todd Howard, there is not sufficient time ahead in processing to draw additional frames to get up to 30 FPS reliably. Todd Howard goes on to say that on PC, Starfield often runs above 30 FPS, and sometimes even reaches 60. Todd is likely referring to checks for builds on middleware or more common, powerful PC builds using GPUs that launched around the time of the Xbox Series in 2020. Most longtime Bethesda game players strongly recommend powerful PCs or over-capable PCs to get a great experience at 60 FPS. Physics and scripting are tied to the frame rate in the Creation Engine. Every time you increase your frame rate, you decrease the update time available for these physics interactions, which can and does lead to errors, bouncing objects, wonky AI behavior, and so on. Critically, if you plan to play Starfield on PC, looking like it does right here, with high resolution, global illumination ray tracing, all of this with double the frame rate from 30 to 60, you'll need this most current family of GPUs from 2022 and on. Something a $2,000 PC will do better compared to a $500 Xbox Series X. The reality of 2023 games and beyond, with many new titles showing now at 30 FPS in reveal trailers, is not what we expected, with super fast processors and strong rendering graphics in the Xbox Series and PS5 consoles. The compromise and choices made by developers that have already reached the limit of true next-generation games coming this year and beyond is a testament to the immersion on offer and the visual fidelity beyond what we enjoyed on older consoles and PC. Starfield is fully immersive, incredibly dynamic, and wholly full-fledged, a colossal RPG with thousands of on-screen interactive real objects that make up the world. There is no game like a Bethesda game, and there's no game quite like Starfield. And the processing demand on modern hardware is disappointing for most, but hopeful for the future of games and hardware. It looks like Starfield is more than living up to the promise of a massive, industry-defining game, and I hope no matter how we choose to play, we all get lost in its incredibly vibrant world. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I had a lot of well thought out and logical predictions how Starfield would run at 60 FPS in performance mode on the Xbox Series X. And I thought there really isn't any real reason besides all of the little breadcrumbs and teases and information that Todd Howard gave us in other interviews, saying that he likes the game to be more high fidelity and 30 FPS. The big curveball was global illumination, and that's why we covered it here in this video. I didn't think in a million years that they would have this game, and possibly it was something that happened over the past year from the last big gameplay trailer we saw last summer. The game has massive improvements overall and visually, and a lot of that can be attributed to lighting, but it is a huge, expensive budget cost to performance. And we are seeing with big AAA games and games moving forward, especially the ones that are fully next generation, that maybe the hardware is running out of room. Let me just say really quick, my personal opinion. I always want to play at the cost of fidelity, at the cost of resolution, to play at higher performance mode. This is something very important I have to say to you, my audience, because it's something, a drum I've been banging for a long time, that games should run at 60. I have to make a decision. Will I play the game on my PC? And I have plenty of power, but when you bring in ray tracing with the 3 series cards as opposed to the ones that came out just a year ago, it's a major difference when you want ray tracing and you want performance all at the same time. Or do I play it the way I saw it and how it looks on the big screen on Xbox Series X? And that is a decision I didn't think I would come to. I'm really leaning towards playing it on the Xbox, where I enjoy playing 90 to 95% of my games. I want to know what your opinion is in the comment section. Let me know, and if you ended up liking this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. This is the second video I put out this week. Your support really means a lot. You can join by hitting the button below to join the channel membership or Patreon. Either of those get you early access to videos. Those people who are channel members of Patreon saw this video about 10 hours ago and were in the comment section. Thank you so much for your support. And those of you who join us on Mondays for XNC, thank you so much for being there. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. With Middle-Aged Game Guy, we have such a great time. We're going to break down everything with the showcase, all the games that are coming, what they missed, what they did great. I can't wait to talk about that. But like I said, I want to hear in the comments, what are you going to do about 30 FPS? How mad are you? Are you going to play it on Series X? Like, the game just looks so good. Starfield is unmissable, and it is going to be a big world industry-changing game. I can't wait to play it. While you're in that comment section, duck, watch out. It's going to be crazy. But as always, remember, be nice.